The first wave of free agency has come and gone, and the NFL teams are starting to gear up to the upcoming draft. In this 7-round Jets mock draft, we're making the picks. Stick around, and we'll look to reshape the future of the New York Jets. I'm Julian Locasso, joined by my co-host, as always, Nick Perry, and this is the Gang Green Report. Let's get into this, guys. Welcome to another edition of Mock Draft Mondays, where we're going to put on our GM caps and make the picks to help our beloved New York Jets shape this roster for not just 2025, but for the years to come. This week, guys, we are going to be doing a Justin Fields post-first wave of free agency mock draft. So let's get this thing started, guys. We're going to go over to our trusty mock draft simulator. Share that bad boy. All right, guys. So we have, let's get into this draft. So obviously we have a couple needs for the New York Jets. I think obviously no surprise that our biggest needs as of right now is probably wide receiver, tight end, tackle, edge, and interior defensive line. So let's see, based on the board here, how it fell. Who went before us right now? Cam Ward went 1, Abdul Carter 2, Travis Hunter 3, Ashton Genty 4 to the Patriots, Will Campbell, and Armand Membu. So the top 2 tackles for us are off the board.
Interesting.
But we do have our pick of the litter in terms of the top 3 guys that at least I would like for the New York Jets.
I know. I was literally just thinking that. I was like, you literally have everybody we could really want right here.
Ed McMillan, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren. Those are my 3 guys that I'm looking at right here, and they're all here at number 7. But obviously, like I mentioned, I think our top needs for this Jets team right now have to be wide receiver and tight end, just simply because of the fact that, our biggest problem right now, aside from maybe right tackle on our offense at least, is that we don't have a solid number wide receiver 2 option next to Garrett Wilson. That's probably the problem. And there, in this draft, I do like a couple of guys late at wide receiver, but there is a big drop off after the first round guys. So there are a good couple of guys that I do like in the second, third round, but there is a big drop off if you don't hit on those guys right away.
I agree. I feel like the one that just jumps off just because he's like literally right there, number 1, is Tet. And I only say Tet because we just signed another defensive tackle to play along Quinn in there and Noddy. So I mean, he's not the answer, but I feel more confident getting a wide receiver 2 than grabbing a defensive tackle.
I also feel like Graham isn't the greatest compliment to Quinnen. I feel like they have very similar games, and aside from that, a lot of people are kind of down on Mason Graham right now because of his measurements, because he measured out pretty small. His arms are really small. I don't think that's going to affect him at the next level, but I just think that there are bigger body guys that we can go after in the later rounds to complement. So I'm going to just go Tet here for pick number 1. So obviously we cross off wide receiver off the list. So now we don't have to worry about that position, at least right now. We have a couple more needs now. I feel like tight end is a big one. Tackle, edge, interior guys. I feel like, obviously, like you said, we added Noddy, but I feel like we could still keep adding at that position. But the one other position that pops off to me is safety.
Yep.
We obviously brought in Cisco, great addition, but we definitely need somebody to be his running mate. So I don't know about you, but I like safety at this pick. A couple guys. I mean, obviously Xavier Watts is a guy that I really, really like. Aside from safety, what's the tight end looking like? Tight end room. Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor. We don't necessarily have to go tight end here. There's a lot of really good, talented guys on the board, though, right now.
I know. That's what I was looking at. Either, I know we're like a little bit away from him, but I was looking at like an edge is like a sneaky need. So like Princely. Princely's a good one. That name's popped up a lot.
Yep.
And I know we've hit on Trey Amos. I think we did that. We've picked Watts before.
Yeah. I like
someone I think
Maggie
that's
Williams too
yep,
here because
that's what I was just about to say.
he can run stuffer. This is a guy, 88.6% rush grade, 6.6% rush win rate. So he's and 7.8% run stop rate. That's big for us. I feel like getting a really big body next to him, and obviously you could see 6'3", 327 pounds. This is your definition of big fatty that we could put next to Quinnen. This is probably going to be a starter for you on day
Definitely.
one.
Yeah, that is true.
What were you
Yeah,
looking
I
here?
I feel like I would. I guess Ty. Yeah, I guess Williams. I feel like the only I really don't want to go like another corner or Watts just because we did land Cisco. I feel like yeah, Williams would be nice.
Yeah, I think we go Williams. Interior is obviously filled here. I feel like this one coming up is
This
a
could be
big
like a tight end spot.
that or tackle. I mean, my
Oh yeah,
guy, Ali Trapillo's here. Mason
literally
Taylor
right where
is
he's
also
protected.
here, and Terrence Ferguson. I feel like pass catcher is a big need. We need a tight end. What opportunities do we have to trade? Chargers are calling, and Giants at 99, but I don't want to go down to 99.
No, I feel like if we're yeah, I guess like if we address the wide receiver already, I mean, tight end is kind of like that safety blanket for Justin Fields when he comes in.
Yep.
Yes, it is a rookie, but right now, again, our tight end room is barren. It's literally just Jeremy Ruckert.
Yeah.
They've yet to re-sign Conklin. So I mean, Mason Taylor might be a good pick here. I would take Mason Taylor over Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to probably be our pick here because I feel like after Mason Taylor, Terrence Ferguson, and even, let's see, who else is even on the board here? Harold Fannin, Gunnar Helm. Those are the four guys that I'm looking at here at this position. And obviously, I like Mason Taylor a lot. So I feel like once we get past pick 73 and we're getting lower into the draft, those options start to really taper off. I feel like all four of these guys are going to be gone by 110. So
Yeah,
I'm going to agree with you here. Mason Taylor is going to be our pick. I just think this is too much not to pass up on. So if we're looking at the board here, we already got wide receiver, we already got tight end, we got interior. I feel like here at 110, perfect guy on the board that I really like staring me right in the face. And that's Andrew Makuba from Texas. I really like him as an option for safety. Who else is on the board at safety? Two of my favorite guys right here, Makuba and Billy Bowman Jr. I feel like Makuba.
I feel like Makuba kind of slipped here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he'll go higher after
Yeah,
he does his pro days and stuff like that. My biggest thing is I feel like we got Cisco, who's probably going to be your free safety. So I feel like Makuba is going to be more of, he would have to play a box safety role. He played a lot in the box this past year, but he's mainly a deep safety.
yeah,
I don't know how that would translate over. Billy Bowman also played, but he also played a lot. He has a lot of versatility.
yeah. He's kind of all over. He played mostly deep safety.
I personally would just take Makuba here, but CJ West is also an option, but we already took interior, so I'm not really worried
Yeah.
so much about the interior.
The only other guy that I see that I would take over Makuba is like David Walker. But even I know it's like a little high for him right now, but I know you really like David Walker.
David Walker is a good edge piece. Ashton Gillette is also a really good edge guy. Peebles, good interior guy. Caldwell is very big in the Jets community, but again, I don't think those are big time needs. I think at this point we're going to also start to see a run on tackles. Chase Lunt, Johnny Cornelius are guys that I like. I have a feeling though
They'd probably be there.
Chase Lunt may not be there at pick 145. Is there a trade down opportunity here? We go down to 124.
124 for 110. That's so tough. I feel like Makuba.
Yeah, and this trade here would get accepted, but don't know if I want to slide back that far. I feel like
I agree.
I want to just pick Makuba.
Yeah, I would take him.
Okay, so I feel like
Again,
honestly, dude, our first four picks are going to be starters.
yeah. Well, again, I was literally that's what I was about to say. I kind of forgot for a moment there that we're kind of drafting around Justin Fields now.
Yeah.
So I feel like the first 2 out of the 3 with Mason and Tet are like absolute steals for him as an incoming uh player for the Jets, first year player for the Jets. Get that tight end, that safety blanket, wide receiver, defensive interior, obviously help out Quinnen, who's been quite vocal, and then Makuba right next to Andre Cisco, which is just a hard hit in safety. He's kind of everywhere. So I think that'd be perfect.
I'm honestly thinking about double dipping here at tight end. I know we added Stone Smart as a tight end. I can see him potentially being a tight end too in this room, but I feel like Kuntz is also not somebody that is going to be somebody on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we could honestly double dip at that position. Benjamin Urasek is a good blocking tight end. He's decent at least, but the real main guy is Jackson Hawes.
Yeah, no, that's what I feel like if we're looking for blocking tight ends, it's like high for him, but like Jackson Hawes
to be like a pretty high spot for him. Is there any like wide receivers?
Kyle Williams, but he'll probably be there at the next one. He might even be there at the one after that.
Patrick Bryant did really well last year. This guy's really highly graded out too. I think I might even take him there, but this is a tough spot. I think Tyler Barron at edge here. We still have sneaky need for an edge.
Yeah, I don't know how JJ's going to come off of Achilles.
Very good against the run, and true pass sets and rush grade 90, and then an 18.7 pass rush win rate. That's pretty good for a guy who played in Miami. Had 10 sacks this year, 6th last year.
Only improved.
I would take this guy here. We need.
Do you think he? Oh no, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong number. Yeah, that is true. I mean, Tyler Barron seems pretty.
His PPG is around a 148. His rank is a 151, so they might give us a bad grade for it. They might give us like a C or something for it, but I feel like it's a position of need that I feel like you can tackle right now in the mid-round.
I would take him.
Yeah, I would take this right here.
And then we're up next anyway.
Hawes is staring me right in the face. This is where I would probably go with him, but
we're literally at where they project him.
Yeah, so I think no-brainer. Mm-hmm. Double up on tight end. So now your tight end room is pretty much set.
And that means not bring back Conklin.
Yeah, not for sure. What is 2 picks left? What is the offensive tackle room looking like? I like Colin Pierce. That would be my pick. I know it's a bit high, and we wouldn't get the greatest pick here, but I also think he's going to start to fly up boards, and I definitely think he's not making it to the 6th round. I just think his physical prowess is good, and I feel like this could be your developmental tackle. Only let up a sack this past year, last year, and only let up 2 sacks in 2022.
Have that right tackle spot.
He's played right tackle his first year, played left primarily the last 2 years, but he's only improved, and he's still super raw as a prospect. He's 6'8", 344 pounds. Yeah. That is insane.
I would probably take him too.
This is my crush right here. This is my draft crush right now. So I would take
hometown hero.
Exactly. Hometown guy too. And then I think now is, end of the 6th round. This is dart swing territory. So you're going after traits here.
Miles Frazier, safety from LSU.
Yeah.
You could get Mickens, another like hometown hero with AG.
Mickens, yeah. I feel like Mickens is just such an AG pick. Like if he's available this late, I feel like he's gonna take him. Jimmy Horn Jr. also excites me at the wide receiver position. I feel like if we're talking about building around Justin Fields, go get him as many weapons as possible. And I feel like Jimmy Horn right now, although the numbers don't pop off at you, he is going to fly up boards with just how well he did at the Combine, with how well he looked in the Shrine Bowl. Like, this guy literally went one-on-one against a lot of guys and just made people look silly.
True. Especially against top-end guys, too. I mean, they had a difficult schedule this year, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely a harder schedule.
Maybe Ty Felton, too. This is another guy who, I don't know, had a high drop rate.
So
I
he
think,
started off the year hot.
yeah, I think Jimmy Horn would be my pick.
Yeah, I feel like Jimmy Horn's a good one, especially because, like you said, underrated. I think it's definitely like a developmental guy who can come up big.
Yeah, for sure. I think this will round out our draft. Let's see what they gave us. Don't know if they're going to give us anything crazy in terms of a grade, but we'll see what
Kind
they
of just interested in the first four picks. Yeah, look at our first four picks.
our first four picks alone were like absolutely out of this world good. Like this
I
right
think
here, I think we hit at least our first four, maybe even 5 or 6 guys on this list. I would say not 5. Our first 4 are going to be starters. Like those are guys that are going to come in right away and just impact winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also just the way we've drafted is, like I said, is like perfect for Justin Fields. I think you give him like a developmental wide receiver, which is great. So if Justin Fields stays long term, he's been working with him since day one.
Yep.
That's fantastic. You give him a starting caliber. That's I was talking about Jimmy Horn. Now you give him a starting wide receiver 2, and Tet, who's just great physical attributes. I mean, 26 total touchdowns his time at Arizona. He's a monster. So I mean,
Yeah.
everything is. I feel like it's perfect for him. I mean, even the one defensive guy or the two defensive guys you get are definitely, like you said, they're going to be starting.
I
So
mean,
that'd be perfect.
Makuba, and you have a secondary with Andrew Makuba, and you have Andre Cisco in the back end. I feel like Cisco has the ability to come up and make plays at the line of scrimmage. He could be like a somewhat of a box if you need him to be, but that's not really his role. He's a roaming guy. But I think Andrew Makuba at least gives you good coverage if you were to do more of a coverage set.
Yeah,
He adds a little bit of versatility, and he shores up the safety position for you for the next couple of years.
definitely.
That I like a lot. Tyleek Williams instantly going to be the starter next to Quinnen Williams. And that allows the other guys that you brought in free agency, like your Jay Tufele, your Derek Notties, those 2 guys that you brought in, those are big body run stuffing guys. But now you ask them to be more secondary guys and then include Leonard Taylor III in that also. Those guys now become more rotational guys and they play a role, whereas you don't ask them to be starters. Whereas maybe Derek Nottie could be slotted into that position if we don't go interior in the draft, but now you're not asking them to be starters. Now you're asking them to play their roles better.
Right.
And now you're going to see with this wide receiver room, now you have a better room. Now you have Garrett Wilson, you have Tet McMillan as your 1-2 punch. Tet will be a good complement to Garrett because we don't have that big body, go up and get it type receiver. Garrett now can be more of like your gadget guy. Whereas then now you will have Tyler Johnson, the new guy that we brought in, fighting it out with Corley,
Gibson.
Malachi Corley, for that wide receiver 3 spot. And those 2 can be interchangeable gadget guys, especially Corley. So now you're adding more flexibility there. Tyler Johnson's going to be a speedy guy at 6'1" that you can have on the outside and inside. So now your wide receiver room looks way better. And then Jimmy Horn can be like round out that room.
Yeah, and I think we re-sign Kenne
Yep.
Naganu. So I mean, Gibson can kind of focus all of his attention now on perfecting his craft as a wide receiver. So fighting for like that third spot. So we have our kick return guy, our punt return guy back. So he can kind of focus in on being that if he really wants that number 3 position ahead of Corley as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with this room, I think Gibson is the odd man out. I feel like
it.
I feel like he might be. I feel like Jet fans all over the world can agree that he wasn't the best option for us, but he might finally get edged out of the way with this room here. And then I do like the tight ends that we brought in. I feel like Mason Taylor will be a good complement as probably our tight end 1. He would come in right away and be the best tight end in the room.
Yeah.
So he would be the tight end 1. I think Stone Smart comes in and will probably fight to be your tight end 2, whereas Jackson Hawes can come in on run packages and be like your tight end that kind of just gets in there, gets dirty, and just blocks everybody.
Which is exactly what we need with Brees.
which I feel like we're going to be a very run-heavy team this year. So, like, we need guys that are going to block, and I think Mason Taylor and Jackson Hawes are going to be two guys that can complement. Whereas Stone Smart, he's was known by Greg Roman as, like, somebody who's an underrated blocker, but he's still not a perfect, polished blocker at the NFL
Right.
level. At the NFL level. But what he is good at is he is a very good receiving threat. So that will now add a little bit of versatility. And what I really think that people are overlooking is that because Stone Smart was a quarterback in college, he can throw the ball. So are we going to see Angstrand get creative and start to utilize him in packages where we, potentially run him in trick plays where he's throwing the ball to people? Like, that can be a sneaky addition to our offense that we haven't had in the last couple of years too. So I really like that element. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, especially like you just said, looking back on that Detroit offense last year, I mean, Amon-Ra throwing touchdowns to Jared Goff, and if anybody's going to be running by anybody, it's going to be Justin Fields. So I mean, that'd be awesome.
yeah, I like it. And then Hollins Pierce, I think that although they didn't give us a good grade for it, I think he's going to fly up boards. I think he's going to be somebody that will be in the 5th round, or maybe even like bottom half of the 5th round, like top
Yeah,
of the 6th, where we kind of got him.
yeah.
I
You
think
don't make up the best offensive line. You don't make up the best offensive line in college
well,
from
it
not
also
five guys.
it also makes a core four probably the starter in year
Hmm.
one, but I definitely think Hollins Pierce could be somebody you could develop for a year. And from what I've seen from a lot of Steelers fans, a lot of them, when I asked about a core four, they basically said if he's your like worst offensive lineman, you're in a good spot
Yeah,
because he wasn't the best tackle, but he also wasn't the worst guy on their offensive line at times. So I feel like we're okay. I mean, it's no Morgan Moses, but I feel like at least with Hollins Peters waiting in the wings, you can groom him for a year and then have him be potentially your right tackle for the future, at least going forward for the years to come, like 2026 and beyond. So, I
yeah,
mean, overall, I think we did a really good job. They gave us an A-, so I think we did pretty damn okay. Like I said, I think we hit a home run on our first 4 picks, so that's probably what gave us a little bit of a boost. But yeah, I feel like overall, regardless of what the Jets do, we kind of have to see what happens in the draft going forward. But guys, let us know what you think of this mock draft in the comments. This is the Gangrene Report, and we will catch you guys next time.